Welcome back to the Sad Dad Games podcast. I'm Shan.
I'm Eric.
I'm Tucker.
Well, we're on the beach again. We've entered the seam, and we are in this perpetual hell that is Death Stranding, because we just finished this about a month and a half ago, and we are repatriating.
I like it.
Yeah, it's not even that much of a reach. It's basically what it is. I love Death Stranding, and the more that we talk about it, the more that I realize Kojima reigns supreme in the writer-director trio. For me, it's Kojima, Druckmann, and who was the third one of the three that? Oh, and Sam Lake from Remedy.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Like, I know that there are going to be people that just straight up reject Druckmann. I am perfectly fine if you don't like subjectively his work, but he is objectively one of the best at writing and structure. You don't have to subjectively like it, but he's good at the structure and writing for the medium.
It's hard to deny his talent and skill, even if it's not your jam. Yeah.
Yeah. And,
but I agree.
And Kojima are also fantastic.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of most things that Kojima does, because it's just, he has this specific brand of absolute weirdness that I feel like we talked about it so much when we did our Death Stranding 1 series, but he just has this way of telling stories and way of developing characters that is like, no one else really does it like him. It's very weird and very unique, and I'm here for it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's weird with a purpose, which you don't normally get. Yeah. Usually it's just weird.
Mm-hmm. There was a part of me that was sad playing this game that felt like there was probably, from his perspective, too much criticism on the first game of trusting the audience too much to read between the lines, and so he had to coddle the audience too much in the second one, and that was like the only thing that I found to be too abrasive in this game is, please stop holding my hand. I know how to use my critical thinking skills to understand your beautiful lore. And he just kept spoon feeding it to me, and it just ate a part of my ka, you know? That being said, I know why he did it. I know that his lore is the densest I've ever seen in any game, and I had to literally go line by line through the first game and have epiphanies as I was talking about it to understand it. And so for people to just passively play the game, they're not going to be able to have all of those same epiphanies. And so he instead, you'll find out later in this game, just created an exposition character to just dump all that stuff on you, and it just hurts. Yeah. He's my least favorite character.
So I had a hard time with this change. I talked to Shan about it, I wasn't a fan of the hand-holdiness. But as I've actually played it more, I think I'm actually enjoying that part of it a little bit. As I can play the game in short spurts and still capture a lot of things I think I would have missed if I wasn't doing longer playing sessions. So from the kind of sad dad playing style of a few hours here and there, I've actually grown to like that, even though I started out are we going to have the exposition character? Are we going to have this the entire game? And you do. But it... Is
the exposition character someone I've encountered? Because you guys are a little farther along than I am.
You encounter him in episode 3.
Okay.
So yes, you have encountered
him. Because I played a little bit ahead of what we're going to talk about today. So we won't talk about it today, but I think I might know who it is now that you're talking about it.
It's like Navi or Navi. Yeah. So if it's his exposition is so inconsequential while you're playing, it's just let me turn it off, and I hope that's an update that could be done at some point, but it hasn't been done, and so I had to suffer a full week playing this game with his nagging.
Hey, listen,
I have something to explain to you. Bitch, I know. I know this world.
Oh, really? Is there a cold wind blowing from Zoro's domain? Thanks. Yeah. I say that as a huge Navi fan. I think I'm the only one in the world, but
she's an endearing character, but the pestering while playing is what's annoying. Man, the nostalgia of the character is good. Really, though.
Be nice to Navi.
All right. Well, this we're going to talk about the prologue, episode 1 and episode 2. So, Sam and Lou, spoilers inclusive. So, if you don't want to know that stuff, get the hell out of here and get back in once you've played that stuff. Yep. And we're going to dig into the story beats, the maybe into character analysis if there's any to be had, and into lore as we know it and as we discover it. So please join us, and let's see if we can debunk anything that we talked about in the first game and expand upon it. And honestly, I'm really excited about this because if you were with us for episode the first Death Stranding, I basically went on like 5 giant monologues about how
Just
I thought
5?
the world worked.
Yeah, Shan had a lot of epiphanies.
And I got like almost all of it right, and I am deeply proud of myself. There are some things I got wrong, and I'll call myself out as they come up, though. I will be honest about it.
Shannon is a smart boy. Everybody give him a little pat on the back. Yeah.
I'm the smartest boy in school. All right. So, prologue. We enter the game with the same intro as the first game. There's an explosion. It talks about the Death Stranding, and then it talks about the first game. So it talks about, I think it talks about like the stick and the rope. This is a big motif of the games. And in the first game, it alluded to Sam being the rope, or the rope, and that Higgs was the stick. It's this prolonged metaphor that they keep playing out, and the rope is what connects people, and the stick is what causes the violence that disconnects people, and can be used more aggressively than passively to like get people to do what you want. So he's not shy about reusing the themes of the first one instead of just all the way throwing it out the door and doing something completely new. And so it's actually because of that it took me a long time to deconstruct and figure out what the game's actual theme was until after I finished this game. But I won't... so yes, I have finished the game. It took me a week, but I won't talk about anything that I know.
So Shan really blasted through it.
Yeah. I don't want to spoil anything for anyone. I want people to discover things for themselves. I'll just talk about things as they come up. All right, so we talked about at the end of the first one, Sam had taken off his UCA cuff link, and that this would make him a fugitive, especially because he took Lou off the grid, and Lou was a bridge asset. And so he became a fugitive, and it looks like he is just north of the Mexico border, and he's in his own shelter to, never be found by them. While it's doing this intro, it shows these concurrent rings of BTs hovering over the water of the beach, and it shows what appears to be black tombstones in an array sticking out of the water, glowing red, and there's again the stranded whales on the beach. And then there's this like eerie cacophonous noise of voices kind of talking over each other. So very cool ambient setting right off the bat to set the mood for this game. It feels like the first game was already dark. This feels moody and kind of like, I don't know, how would you describe how this feels kind of different from the first one? Kind of like conspiratorial, or like something bigger is starting to take place.
Yeah, I think it has a lot of sequels that build on foundations from previous games. Is it has a kind of a grander feel, but also everything feels larger than life, more so than the first game, and it does have kind of a more grounded. Moody is the right word. It has this kind of moody undertone, slightly darker themes. And kind of a grander general vision.
Yes, it's like everything you knew in the first game, you thought that was everything, and then it just like took one step back, and it's like, oh no, the world is one scale bigger than everything that you knew, and we're about to dig into that scale. And so it reminds me of finishing Silo Season 1, and you think this is the world as it exists, and then it takes one step back and you're like, oh, the world is 10 times larger than this, and then let's get into that in Season 2.
Yeah, well, and a way that this game does that pretty much right off the bat is it starts you off in Mexico. Like, you've spent the whole last game connecting the UCA, what used to be the United States of America, and now Sam is in Mexico. And so immediately it's like, because in the first game you're not really thinking about any other countries. You're like, we're going to unite America again. And then at the start of the second game, it's like, oh yeah, there's the rest of the world too. So it's, I like the thought of like, you thought you knew what was going on, and then you take a step back and there's so much more going on.
Right, so it's 11 months after Sam went off the grid, and Fragile's doing a voiceover. She talks about how she's always loved porters, and then it does this absolutely drop-dead gorgeous pre-rendered intro. I believe it's it has to be pre-rendered. I'm sure it's like maxed out at 30 frames.
It looked way too much like real life.
Mode.
Yeah,
it's right. And after doing these realistic scenes, it shows Sam at the top of these gorgeous mountains, and he stands up with Lou and kisses her after Lou reaches up to swipe at his face. Just this very endearing, beautiful moment, especially after the first game. And then you have to travel down to your safe house, and you get to admire the view with this great driving music, and it's this quick, soft walking sim tutorial, and you get to admire the physics demo of this game.
That's very, very nice intro to the game. Low stakes, beautiful vistas, just kind of like a little tiny slice of what Death Stranding is about. Also, I wanted to take a second and just point out that Lou, the baby, Sam's baby, is one of the best looking CGI babies I've ever seen. It probably is the best. Yeah, it's a very hard effect, and a very hard thing to do is to make a CGI baby that doesn't look like straight up nightmare fuel. And Lou is adorable. She just looks like a cute little baby, which seems like, yes, of course she does. She's a cute little baby, but that's not an easy thing to do. Lots of kudos and props to the character designers who worked on Lou. She looks like a baby.
Yeah, it looks like they actually used a baby for mocap and not just took a human being and just shrunk it down and said, hey, that's a baby now.
Yeah.
Act like a baby. Right. I am baby. Yeah.
I can't name I can't name any movies or TV shows that have had a CGI baby, because the only ones that I know are movies that have tried and have failed. So there's American Sniper that couldn't do it, and so they used a doll.
Yeah.
And then there's Twilight that used a CGI baby.
Oh man,
and that
the
was
Twilight baby is next level awful. Like. So
and then
bad.
Twilight's already awful, and just this baby. It's
just an extra dollop of awful on already awful. Yeah.
Yeah. And so I think after those two, people realize we're still not there for the next 10 years. Let's not even try. And then Kojima's like, here, hold my sake.
Yeah. Yeah, I will say another one, Resident Evil Village, Baby Rose.
Yes,
Baby Rose is a pretty good CGI baby. Yeah, that's a pretty good CGI baby too. But Lou takes the cake. She is just a little ray of sunshine, and I friggin' love her.
Mm-hmm. And he just like had to drive it home with like just doing like, I think it's just the two bottom teeth, maybe the top two teeth as well.
Scientifically, the two cutest teeth. Yep.
Yeah, exactly. Just the chonkiest little cheeks and everything, and she's got a little porter outfit. It's amazing.
It's just cute as hell. Yeah.
So you get to the bottom of this section, and it's a fantastic little subversion. You get a BT fake out that Sam has used to deter intruders. So you think a BT is about to attack them, and right as it gets up to them, Sam doesn't even flinch, and then Lou just like swipes through the BTs, just completely amused. So it turns out this is just a chirogram to deter these intruders, and then he walks into his shelter. He's living life off the grid. He's not a porter right now. Then you see this amazingly directed cutscene of life as it is between Sam and Lou. You get Lou's POV. She's pushing a toy towards Sam. Then you see that Lou is wearing this angel outfit, which we find out is foreshadowing. And so we just see toys everywhere. Sam's cooking. Sam's providing. Lou falls asleep at one point. Puts Lou in this chunky little diaper into Lou's crib. It's just everything's just beautifully set, gorgeous mise-en-scène for what is Sam living the life after what was a very hard life for the last 10 plus years of being a porter.
Yes. Beautifully directed scene. Also, did you guys notice the bassinet or the little crib or whatever that Lou lays in? Looks like a stuffed otter.
It's an otter, yeah.
I was going to say, and do you remember anything like from the Death Stranding 1 about
Conan
stuffed otters?
O'Brien?
Yeah, you get the hat you get from Conan O'Brien as a stuffed otter, and I'm pretty sure it's the same like otter stuffy that is Lou's bassinet. So she's sleeping in a Conan crib.
There is another optional mission in this game to get that hat again, but it's not as special as the first game.
Well, as it doesn't involve.
That's exactly why.
Yeah.
And I think at this point it's already playing. Is it BJ Thomas's "Raindrops Keep Falling on My Head"? So, is it this part that's doing that? Yeah, I think so.
I actually don't remember what song is playing right there. I remember it happening later.
Well, it's definitely this part. Yeah, "Raindrops Keep Falling on My Head." I'll keep coming back to this song. Beautiful. All right. So, after that, Fragile enters, and you see that she has these beautiful, weird, Kojima-inspired, hand things draped over her shoulders. You're like, okay, so we're entering this new Kojima world, right?
Well, and it's like it looks like a mask kind of. She comes
right.
walking
It's
on,
over.
and it's like over her mouth, and then they just like sit on her shoulders, and sometimes they like shush. It's very weird.
Sometimes they give a thumbs up. Sometimes
they give a. It's like, why does Fragile need extra hands? Why were they covering her mouth when she first came in? Like, what's going on here, Fragile?
Right. Yeah. It took me a minute to realize they're definitely covering her mouth because they are to keep her quiet from BTs. So,
oh yeah, I guess that makes sense. You'd think that because when Sam sees a BT,
keeps her hands free
you cover
for
your
shooting
mouth.
and stuff.
Yeah, all right. I feel like there's a simpler solution to that, just like wear a mask or something. But no, not in Kojima's world. You have to have fully autonomous robotic hands. Yeah, maybe just close your mouth and breathe through your nose.
Well, even when you are in stealth mode as Sam, you cover your mouth if you're holding your breath. So now she doesn't have to do that, right?
It's just Fragile being extra.
Right. These hands are controlled by her own mind. It appears because she can get them to do whatever she wants. So somehow there is some lore or mechanic by which she can, through her cause power, control them, but it's not explained how at this time, or if it ever is. I don't know how.
What's the thing that we called it in Spider-Man, where it was like the neural hat or whatever that like sits on and allows the neural link to it? It doesn't matter. That's a whole different recording session.
It's
a completely different game.
Hat.
It's a Dr. Octopus neural link hat. Yeah.
That's right. All right, so Fragile has been looking for Sam at this point. She let herself in with her Misanga. She can't pop in anymore, which is why Sam was wondering. She used to just pop in, but she can't. She has to go in through the front door, and this had scared Sam because he thought he had an intruder. She has what is known as jump shock. So this is a convenient new piece of lore that Kojima's come up with to prevent her from jumping Sam all across the continent. So that mechanic is gone for this game. Jump shock is she's been jumping too much from the beach for so long that now when she does it, it just absolutely cripples her body. And so she's done with that life. All right, so she offers Sam to take a job to wipe his record from Bridges in the UCA. So he asks about Lou, but Lou is in Bridges' asset, so it would be more complicated, and he'd have to work that out with them. She activates a chirogram with her thumb cuff ring. Now, this is a change from the ring, from the cuff, and he clearly did this because he realized he could now do likes anytime he wanted to activate the HUD.
Yeah, it was because before it was like, it looked like handcuffs. They called them cufflinks, and now you have your ring terminal, which is a ring on your finger, and you do a thumbs up, and it goes boop, ring terminal.
A clever change, right? But these aren't necessarily the same because they're not connected to the UCA. So if she or Sam were, he wouldn't be on the grid on the UCA at that point, right? But it would still connect him to.
I think that Fragile talks about her new, in just a minute here, she talks about her new company called Drawbridge, and I think the ring terminals are like the cufflinks, but for Drawbridge.
Right.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah,
so
Drawbridge is a private entity where Bridges was part of the UCA.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, so in this chirogram that she activates, she explains that the Death Stranding is still on. I had speculated at the end of the first game that the Death Stranding was reactivated when Lou came back to life, because I had speculated that Amelie had repatriated Lou. So that's just wrong. I was wrong about that. I don't know how Lou got Amelie DNA bracelet or whatever that she came back with. Maybe she really did just steal it off Sam's person.
The Kipu?
Lou had a mini Kipu that they all had at the end of the game, but Sam wasn't wearing it when Lou came back to life, and Lou was holding it in her hand. And I thought this was some symbolic way of saying Amelie kind of like repatriated her as some like benevolent act, but this would have been a new patriot in this repatriate. But I guess Sam already being a repatriate, there would have still already been an imbalance that would have kept the Death Stranding on. So I guess Sam existing in the first place, even though Amelie has sealed off her beach, that doesn't stop the Death Stranding. The imbalance of life from Sam existing as a repatriate is what keeps the Death Stranding on, right?
Yeah, I don't think it has anything to do with Lou. I mean, we understand that Lou is not a repatriate, so...
Actually, the Death Stranding started... It kicked off before Sam, didn't it?
I thought that in the previous game, Amelie talks to Sam about how that's what caused the Death Stranding, was Sam's initial repatriation.
I thought so too, but I don't... Yes, I think that is it, right? I think that is right. Okay.
So I think Sam's continual existence as the original repatriate, the one that kicked it off, I think that has some kind of connection to the Death Stranding still prevailing.
Yeah, it's a little bit kludgy because Amelie did exist as an extinction entity before he became a repatriate, because she was born as an extinction entity. But the Death Stranding didn't kick off in earnest until he repatriated and caused that imbalance. And just kind of brought death into this world.
Yeah, I think that matches
right.
up with what I remember from the first game. I think that's right.
Okay. So yeah, Death Stranding's still on. Bridges is no longer over distribution, so Sam's friends have disbanded from the UCA. Die Hardman was the first and last president, and Fragile Express is done. So all of this within 11 months. That was very quick. not the shortest president that that North America's had, but it is among...
But not the longest.
You know what? Shortest American
Die Hardman.
Well, it would be the one that died in 30 days in length. They thought I meant in height, but I did not.
Who was the shortest U.S. president?
Okay, I'm still getting height.
Yeah, I'm still getting height. Well, now tell us who was the shortest one? Who was the shortest president?
James Madison at 5'4".
5'4", wow.
Oh.
I mean, that's like short, but that's not like crazy short. I guess it's pretty short for a man.
Yeah. All right, so
Yeah.
we all know about William Henry Harrison at 31 days. He caught some sickness from his address, and we know this from Parks and Recreation. But, okay, so then it just gave me the longest one at FDR because, he had like four different terms, so that's great. But, all right, so whatever.
Like
He's probably the next one after Harrison. All right. Harrison, then Die Hardman.
Yep.
That's what I'm getting at.
I'm glad we did the
probably
research and we
wrong
figured
about
that one out.
Just because AI is like failing me at this. I should have just gone straight to AI. Shortest U.S. president durations. All right, so while that's kicking off. All right, so after this, distro was done by the APAS 4000. And so this is a bunch of autonomous robots, which they had already talked about being a plague on the world before. Having everything be automated is what kind of caused the Porter syndrome and caused these mules to go crazy and start, stealing things and killing people. But we're right back to that system. Why do things manually when you can automate them? Because, capitalism. It's just the natural order of things. We want a raise. No, you're automated. Get the fuck out of here, right? All right. So Fragile now does drawbridge outside. So it's basically Fragile Express, but she can do it outside the UCA. And she needs porters with dooms. And she wants Sam to do this for Mexico. He asks if she's asking, and she's asking both on her behalf and for the UCA. And so Sam asks why a couple times if you choose to indulge the new mechanic of dialogue branches.
Yeah,
they're not like real dialogue branches. It's like a wheel of like. It's like do you want this piece of information and this one and this, and then you can continue. There's no like branching dialogue trees. There's no like real choice. It's just like, here are 4 options for information that you can receive. Click on them if you want to, or just keep going if you want to. It's a pretty bare bones like dialogue tree. At least that's what I've experienced so far. Maybe it gets more complex as the game goes on, but I kind of doubt it.
So far, no. It's more so, hey, do you want more information about this one thing I mentioned? Sure. Okay.
Yeah.
Here.
Which I'm kind of fine with. It's nice to have control over, like, yeah, I do want more information about this. Or like, nope, I want to just keep going.
Yeah. Yeah, that's fair. Okay, James Garfield, real quick, 199 days. He's the only other one less than Die Hardman after Harrison.
There you go.
Nice.
Just so that I didn't come off as a complete idiot for the only
really
person
important that we
looks
cleared
into
that up.
this.
Yeah. Die Hardman is the 3rd longest North American president.
That's right. Okay, so where were we? Okay, so why Sam? So Deadman is working down there, so that's one reason. There's a massive BT in the area, and he's the first and only one to have ever killed a BT, and like a massive one. And the timefall is worse than it used to be, so there are now quakes and flooding that occurs. Love this. New dynamic mechanics to go along with this like physics sandbox, almost like an world that he's created. It's very fantastic level and world design that he's done here.
Yeah, the flooding mechanics are really cool. I like if timefall is really heavy in an area, then rivers will flood and they'll become wider and harder to cross. And so as you're delivering things, you have to consider, like, well, how hard is it raining? Will I be able to get across with a ladder, or am I going to have to build a bridge? I need to bring materials for a bridge. So it just adds extra considerations that fluctuate dynamically based on the weather, which is pretty cool.
Yeah. And so you can reject the call to action here, and because I thought, it's normal for the protagonist to reject the call to action, and this isn't the real inciting incident, so it's not like a big deal, but I rejected it twice, and if you reject it, then it straight up just resets the scene, and it starts playing raindrops keep falling on my head.
You did it wrong. Yeah.
and it does the POV of Lou. Lou pushes the thing into you. It says, he talks about Lou being a porter again, and then it jumps from that moment straight to Fragile asking, "Hey, do you want to do this for me?" And you can reject it one more time, and I can't remember exactly how it plays out, but it plays out slightly differently, where it kind of just alludes to, like, no, you have to do this because things are about to go to shit. And it's pretty subtle. It's like it zooms in on a picture where it's like, no, you should do this because everybody's gonna die, and then you have to do it. It's the only option.
Interesting. I wonder why they gave that option at all, if it basically just resets it and like says, nope, try again.
You have to do this.
Yeah, that agent free will is a myth, is the point it's trying to get across.
And that's the game.
Yeah, that's it.
I want to stay with Lou.
If they just rolled the credits, Sam says no, and then the credits just roll and the game is over, that would be the most hilarious, most Kojima thing I've ever heard of in my life. I wish that is what he would have done. Just like, great, thanks for playing the game.
Yeah. You know what I think it was? I think it's like the second time it zooms in on a picture of you at the beginning of the game where, you're at the top of the cliff with Lou and you're about to walk down to your shelter again. And it starts zooming in, so you're about to start playing. And then I think there's a voiceover of Sam saying, nope, nope, nope. And then it cuts directly to you making the choice again. So I think that's what it does the second time.
Makes sense. Can't refuse the call. Yeah.
Can't. No. Although, in this case, you definitely should be able to. Because Fragile proves that she is not that good at this.
Yeah.
I've got lots of thoughts about this.
Yeah, if I'm going to hire a babysitter, it's not going to be Fragile. I will hire Hitler before I hire Fragile.
She's fragile, but she's also that fragile.
Yeah, she's also a bad babysitter.
Yeah.
Anyways, don't want to get too far ahead of ourselves.
Yeah.
Friggin' Fragile.
Yeah. All right, episode 1.
This far in the game,
Sam.
I still hold a grudge against her. Just one of those feelings don't go away.
We'll get into it when we get there, but I'm right there with you, man.
All right, episode 1, Sam. All right, you have a new Cupid model. So these were invented in the first game by Malingen and Lochna, and so as far as I'm concerned, they're the only ones that can architect a new model. So I don't know if there's anything to that, and if they'll allude to that later. These are, more beautiful. They're rounded edges. This is clearly a V2 model of a product.
It's
it's rounded.
Yeah, it's still a Cupid, but it looks prettier now. Yeah,
that's right. All right, so Fragile explains that Amelie's expedition split midway while they were crossing America, and the second cut south to Mexico. I don't remember if they actually said that in the first game. I don't think they did, but I think it's a good piece of lore to just kind of retcon.
I vaguely remembered them talking about their group splitting up, but I didn't realize they went to Mexico. Yeah,
I don't remember that at all. Yeah.
Okay. But she says they only laid groundwork, quote unquote. Guys, what does laying groundwork for the chiral network mean?
Not a damn thing. I don't know. Like, what? I feel like you need the Cupid to do anything, right?
No,
like,
no.
Yeah,
That's connecting the network. What does laying the groundwork mean?
I mean, setting up like way stations, maybe.
No, it's
Are you setting up a joke
sacrificing
that I'm
a
not
bridge
understanding?
baby.
yeah,
Oh,
they're
no.
killing babies.
They're sacrificing BB pods like we did on the West Coast at the end. Yeah.
Ooh,
Laying
forgot about that.
groundwork, quote unquote.
That's about as nice a way as you can put that. Yeah.
We know exactly what that means.
It's okay. Deadman told us a million times over and over again that bridge babies are just tools, and it's fine. We don't need to get attached to them. They're just equipment.
It's fine because they got no soul. That's a deep cut from I Think You Should Leave, where they can show coffin flops and they're naked. Yeah.
Show their bare blue butts. I've been waiting forever for a hit. Yeah, I don't remember all the lines from that, but that is a top 10 Tim Robinson skit for sure. All right. So as you're leaving your shelter and Fragile is holding Lou reaches out and snatches a cryptobio that you refuse to eat. And for some reason, it's cute when she does it.
Because she gets her little baby hands, and it takes both of her hands to put it in her mouth, and it's adorable.
Yeah. Now, put a pin in that, but I can't explain why, and I'll come back to it some other point far off in the game. But I think that is referencing something, but we'll come back to it. Okay. So then you cross the border into Mexico. So you're crossing it's the Rio Grande, right? Rio Grande. And
Rio Grande.
Yeah. So I have walked across the border from San Diego into Tijuana and back. It felt very similar to that, except that, I don't know, Tijuana is very trashy. I felt like I was going to get murdered there. But so it wasn't exactly like that.
When you crossed the border, was there a yellow film that all of a sudden came on and everything had a yellow tint?
Yes, it was exactly like that.
Because that's how know you're Mexico.
I would say, if Breaking Bad's taught me everything, it's that everything is slightly yellow in Mexico.
That's right. And then what's his face? The guy that is on Breaking Bad that has his head chopped off and put on a turtle.
Tortuga.
Tortuga.
Yeah. La Tortuga, that's
it's
right.
It's played by Danny Trejo, yeah.
That's it, that's the name.
Yeah.
And then you get a dead Danny Trejo's head chopped off and placed on a Tortuga. Yeah, anyway. Let's just move on from that. So, you get some new weather mechanics. You get a desert storm with plasma bolts. This was a cool new thing. He's just showing off here. Right?
Yeah, the environmental effects and like the sandstorm and the dust and the smoke and like the way that it collects on Sam's suit and the way that it brushes up against like rocks and cars and fences and stuff and trickles over the top of that and creates like varying degrees in the volumetric lighting based off of the clouds of dust. It's jaw-dropping, astonishing weather effects in this game.
Mm-hmm.
He's just showing off.
It's amazing. All right, so then you get to your first distro area, and they explain that they used to bury their dead in tar, which makes them dumbasses. Now,
that's to prevent void outs, right? Like, because bodies will necrotize and void out and stuff, and they were like, we don't have a proper way to dispose of them, so we'll just dump them in this tar pit. That seems to work. It's fine. It's like throwing logs onto a forest fire because you've got too many logs. Like, it's a bad idea.
Yeah, that's right. So, as I had speculated wildly in the first game, the tar was the seam of the beach. And so, because we saw Higgs often pulling BT catchers out of the tar, So if they are throwing, oh, and also during timefall events, yeah, if these BTs ever caught onto you and pulled you into a catcher event, the tar would rise from that, right? So I do think that, and they explain later, like I was basically spot on about this. So if they're dumping these dead, to be necrotized bodies into these tar pits, what would that do, right? There are BTs in those tar pits that want to void out those dead bodies because those are flesh and bone. They want those bodies. And we know from the first game that you can throw nuclear bombs into tar pits and it would consume those bombs. So it is reasonable that a void out could be consumed within the seam of a tar pit. But it still makes it's still stupid, right? Like it's a temporary solution.
It's a short-term solution with long-term bad consequences. Not a good idea.
You're just begging for a void out.
Or like multiple void outs stacked on top of each other. Like
you're just begging for like a BT to reach out at the last possible moment and void you out as you're dumping a body.
Idea. Not sustainable. Don't do that. Yeah.
Which I think they do say, like, it did end up causing a void out. I think I don't remember. But they say, okay, so it's not necessary now because now that it can chirally print the tools necessary to be able to burn these bodies, which is great. Okay, so after this, you go to sleep and you have your first dream. You know it's a dream. I mean, obviously, because you just go to sleep and have the dream. But like all dreams, you're naked. And that's how you know it's a dream in this game.
Obviously. Everyone's naked in every dream they've ever had. That's like Dream 101.
Mm-hmm.
Always naked.
Right. So this one is prescient. It's foreshadowing. He's naked with his Cupid. For some reason, he always has Cupid. And he's holding Lou. Then Lou disappears. This happened a lot in the first game as well. And Sam has inky hands. And then he sees tiny baby BT hands on the sand running, walking away quickly. And then you see scattered dolls on the beach, and off in the distance horizon you see a giant Amelie holding what you assume is a baby. And this, as we know, as far as we can tell from this vision, is foreshadowing Lou's death.
Spoilers. Yeah, well, and I think that Sam has similar visions in the first game a couple of times where, like, the Lou, who is still the BB-28 in the pod, he'll be holding her on the beach, and then she turns into a BT. But yeah, this is a real. You don't realize how much of a bummer this is until about an hour later in the game.
Doesn't take long.
Yeah.
As far as visions go, this one's a quickie. So the reason he has these visions, they're not just like convenient dreams. These are visions from Dooms. This is what Dooms rewards people with. So Amelie, as an extinction entity, she has these dreams of the future, and she doesn't know which ones are real or not. And everybody with level 1 Dooms or above are capable of having these visions. And when she repatriated Sam, or when Sam got Dooms, she didn't know which vision of the future was true, and she just had to kind of give them out to everybody and to Sam, and just kind of hope that he found the right line that would lead him to making the decision or finding the path to her to either choose to end the Death Stranding or to live it out with her and watch humanity die. And now it looks like we're still getting visions, but we're getting them of random things like this. Right?
Yeah.
So, still visions of horrible, nasty things. But there's a little more to this vision, but we can't really talk too much about it. We just have to move on and maybe come back to this, and I'll write notes about things that we can revisit at a later time. All right. So we have Fragile and Lou come to visit Sam. this is Sam's first time away from Lou, and they encourage him to keep going. You go to deliver medical supplies to a poorly dressed woman, and she has a baby that hasn't been birthed and stopped growing at 7 months. And she talks about how she used to be una bandita. And so...
Which is Spanish for the bandita.
For a bandita. Yeah. So this is just laying groundwork for lore that will later become important. So we'll just put a pin in this one as well.
Lots of little breadcrumbs. Yeah, I was gonna say lots of little breadcrumbs for things that come later, and at the time you're just like, that's kind of weird. I don't understand that, but it's like, don't worry, Kojima will come back to it. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. Is there anything that we understand mechanically that can freeze time? I don't know that there is that we understand. Well, we know time doesn't pass on the beach, and we know that babies are umbilically tied to the beach. They are in between. That's what BBs are. BBs are at 7 months. That's when they're pulled out.
Yeah, and this is they talk about this condition a little bit later on, and that is another point they make, that BBs are 7 months old, but that there has been this case that we're hearing about now is a woman who was pregnant and the baby stopped, just kind of froze at 7 months, like it was a BB, but it's not. It's inside. So I don't really know why or what significance that has, but I'm sure that question will be answered.
Yeah, it was about to end its tether to the beach, presumably, because I assume after 7 months it's ending its connection, because 7 months is when it's literally in the middle of life between the beach and out of the beach.
Yeah,
and
Deadman
so
talks about that specifically in the first game, that the reason BBs are at that age is because they're right in between the life and death, the two worlds.
Right.
Yep.
Yeah. So yeah, it's got to be something related to that, I'm guessing, but we'll come back to it. All right, so we've adapted a mechanic from the first game. The Thematic grenades have become blood grenades, and it's just a derivation of that, but they're able to use Doom's blood instead. So that's convenient, so we don't have to poop and pee all the time.
Yeah, no more poo-poo and pee-pee grenades, yeah.
Which was a little bit of a disappointment for me. I was really...
Nothing quite like flinging your poo at otherworldly monsters, yeah.
Yeah. Now, we talked about in the first one that it made sense that Sam, as a repatriate, was uniquely suited to use his blood because he could send BTs back through the seam using his blood, because it would reject BTs from this world due to his unique repatriation properties. I felt like it maybe was a little hand-wavy to say that now we could just use Doom's blood as well, but let's just go with it, because now we don't have to poop and pee all the time.
Yeah, there's some other hand-waving when it comes to BT weapons that I think starts in Chapter 3 here, or Episode 3.
Where you can use, like, bullets and stuff against them. Yeah, they give you, it's like hermetic rounds or something like that. Yeah.
Well, Thematic is out now. We could just use Doom's blood and MP bullets and stuff. Yeah.
Poo-poo bullets. Yeah. Or turd pellets.
If we could just please use poop bullets.
Yeah.
Just pellets, you know?
It's like deer poop shotgun, you know?
Yeah, that's right. Scatter shot.
Yeah.
Right.
We like to hit a nice balance between highbrow and lowbrow humor here. We don't think that we're above a good poop joke. Like
No, everybody enjoys a good poop joke.
Yeah.
If you don't enjoy a good poop joke, you need to stop taking your life so seriously.
That's right. Okay, so after this, Sam goes to sleep. There's an alarm. There's a gate quake. He has goosebumps, which he gets when there's a high chiralium level and there are BTs in the area because the temperature's dropped, and it's a chiral allergy that he's experiencing. So there's chiralium levels that are rising in the vicinity. So there's a large BT that they were alluding to earlier has arrived, and so Sam also says at this time that his Doom's level has gone up from the first game. So he was at level 1 and he was using Lou as a BB to increase to level 2, which meant he could go from sensing to seeing. now he can see on his own. So he's a level 2 just because.
Yeah, seeing if he's close enough, which I don't know if proximity has.
I think
sort of interesting combat mechanic here.
It's the same
the
amount of seeing from the first game.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, I was gonna say you had to get close to them in the first game to be able to see him as well. So I think it's similar range. Maybe it's slightly less, but not to a noticeable degree, at least for me. Yeah.
I kind of doubt it. Feels
I think it's probably about the same.
Something that they wouldn't want to re-architect in this game just for the sake of some kludgy little lore thing.
I mean, I don't know. I wouldn't put it past Kojima.
I wouldn't put it above. Yeah, say.
Who knows?
Maybe
he decreased it by like 0.5 meters. He's like, I got to make sure it's authentic to what the dooms would actually be, you know?
That's right.
Yeah.
Now, this could also be hand-waving, but we also kind of know that Amelie granted dooms to some degree, and so maybe you could say this was a parting gift from Amelie as she rejected it, as she sealed off her beach or whatever. Or
she increased Sam's dooms level.
Yeah, because she kind of like had granted Higgs the level of control or dooms that he had, I think. And so it stands to reason that, but for some reason she gave Sam the lowest amount of dooms he could possibly have. And I think it was just like enough for him to have visions to get from point A to B in his life to make the decision he needed to make, but never more than that to get into danger or anything like that. I don't know what it was. Like, why did she stop at that point? I don't know that we ever had a good answer for that. She didn't want him being the particle of God, I guess.
I don't have an answer for that either. No, I don't know.
Yeah. And I think it could be just like, she wanted there to be some friction because that was one of her, one of the things that she cared about a lot was I wanted to challenge humanity to rise to the goal. So give him the bare minimum to do the task, but make it, but not more than that, because I wanted him to rise to the challenge to prove that, he could. That humanity could evolve and adapt to survive, which was like her whole thing.
Prove that they're worth saving, maybe. Yeah.
Yeah. But now he needs level 2 because he can't see the BTs. So.
Yeah.
And so she's like, "Here, level 2, whatever.
Here you go. Have this." Yeah.
Because you have Lou now. That's right. All right. That was all for nothing. It could just be hand waving. It just went up. All right. So this person that he's talking to also talks of gazers that make contact, then hunters that emerge from the tar to capture you, and if they are successful, you will face off with a catcher. So, did you catch that? They just invented a new type of BT that didn't exist in the first game.
Yeah, the gazers. They're the worst.
No, gazers already existed.
No. Did they?
Yeah. Gazers and
the ones that
catchers.
could see you?
No. So you're thinking of watchers.
Oh, yeah.
Watchers.
Keep
going.
Okay.
Yeah,
they're
gazers,
the worst. Watchers are the worst.
I gaze, I watch. Yeah, watchers. Yeah. I specifically
watchers have
talked
the
to
eyes.
Scott about watchers, and I'm like, these new BTs can go straight to hell because they are the
That's
worst.
Right. Yeah.
All right. So gazers were always the ones that hovered over the ground and umbilically were tied to the ground, and when they saw you, they would freak out. But then we would have tar BTs emerge from the ground and try to suck you down. And if they did, then they would grab and pull you to a catcher arena. Now, we were only ever told in the first game that there were gazers and catchers, so I always thought that the tar monsters were gazers. But maybe they were, but he just bifurcated it in this game and now calls the second ones hunters.
Oh, I didn't notice that detail.
Yeah. And this actually is fantastic to me because now I know that they're two different things. I had always thought they were the same BT. But okay, so one of the biggest epiphanies that I had in the first game was that that one person has two BTs essentially, because remember Mama, when we were first introduced to her, she had her floating BT, and then she had the baby's BT handprints walking towards that BT on the ceiling. And I was like, is that an echo of the BT or something like that? And it turns out that was the baby's Ka in the seam. And the floating baby was the trapped Ka in the real world. And so the one whose hands were manifesting in the real world, that was just the hand making its way through a physical surface through the seam, or through like a tar surface, like
it's
through
like
the seam.
BTs representing in multiple forms as one Ha.
Right.
Or Ka, sorry.
Yeah. So it could still be, in my opinion, that gazers and hunters could still so this is what I got excited about. Gazers and hunters still might be literally the same Ka. But what is happening is that the gazer sees a physical body and it says, hey, you, I want to void you out so that I can reunite with my hunter Ka that's in the seam.
Oh.
So I am super excited. I see a physical body. So guess what? Hunters, come get this guy. Hunters pop out from the tar. They grab you, and they're like, okay, well, I'm going to take you to the catcher, because the catchers are the ones that are the guardians of the seam. And they're the ones that need to void you out, because in the seam, they're the ones that protect BTs from escaping the seam. But in the real world, they're the ones that are trying to kill humans to bring them into the seam. So catchers are just the guardians of like BTs and the killers of humans to bring BTs in. They're just basically they're like the guardians of the seam and the guardians of cause in the seam. What was it that we had a word for this that was super funny.
I don't remember.
Something pimp. What's the word?
It was like a psycho pimp, was it?
A psycho pimp, or a pomp, a psychopomp or something.
Yeah, because it was supposed to be psychopomp, but you accidentally said psycho pimp. Yeah,
that's right.
Yeah,
I think the catcher BTs are psychopomps. Figure in mythology, religion, or folklore whose role is to guide souls to the afterlife. It's kind of like that.
Yeah. So like Karen on the River Styx would be a psycho pimp.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, I'm excited about this. I think this makes sense. I feel like I tried so long to deduce the motivation of these BTs, why they would be trying to do what they're doing, and now I feel like I finally understand why they're doing it.
No, excuse me. It's an exciting thought that I like. Yeah, we talked about it a bunch in the last one, trying to figure it out. But I think that this all makes sense. Going to go at it with that perspective from now on and see if I can punch any holes in that theory. But that makes sense to me.
Mm-hmm. All right. Okay, so after this, you meet up with Alex, the weather station guy from the first game. He wanted to come work for Deadman in Mexico. He wants you to rest up for the giant BT. And Deadman, as you're down there resting, he appears to you as a chirogram. Sam, uncharacteristically, as you understand him anyway, he lunges for a hug. Love this.
Yeah. I also thought that it was like classic Deadman. I know that it's just like a pre-recorded message from Deadman, but it was just like Sam is like fast all the way asleep. and then you just like hear Deadman start talking. And it just reminded me, it just like the weirdest ways, like of course Deadman's just gonna like in the middle of Sam sleeping, he's just gonna start monologuing, because this is the same guy that in the last game was like, come take a shower with me, I've got weird secrets to tell you. Like just the most inappropriate ways for Deadman to convey information to Sam, that's the way that he's gonna do it. Like Deadman, what a weirdie.
Goober.
What a goober.
All right, so Deadman had chosen this location because it was a station for geophysics, and it has a wealth of info on gate quakes, tar currents, and plate gates. He pulls out a pod storage container filled with baby toys, and he just starts explaining how South America was completely cut off from North America by a tar belt. So they don't know any of the continent except, or they don't know of any continent except America. They try to contact others. The lab was equipped with research satellites conveniently, so as they try to launch these satellites, there was a thick layer of chiralium that rendered them inoperable at altitude. So they tried sending them via ocean, but the chiralium proved too corrosive. And then they started noticing there were non-native birds flying around, and that's when they noticed that a plate gate had arrived around the time Sam had finished expanding the chiral network in North America. And then around there, they started finding marsupials that were non-native to this area. And then they started finding Australians.
It's like, wait a minute. You're an Australian person. Well, that was like a weird, because I had heard before I started... Right? I'm Australian, mate. I had heard before I started playing this game that it was going to take place in Mexico and Australia, and I was like, "That's weird choices. How are they going to? How are they going to do that?" So the answer is Plategate. You just slap one in Mexico and one in Australia, and boom, there you go.
Brilliant.
Yeah.
Two very awesome choices for new continents to hook up with very interesting geographies. I love that.
Yeah, I've been a big fan of. I'm currently, this is me talking a little farther ahead, but I'm currently doing some stuff in Australia. Big fan of that area. Super fun.
That's when Deadman stops recording because he says he has to take a shower, which I think is a really bad joke.
Yeah,
right.
It's like, classic Deadman. Yeah. Hey, remember that one time where I shoved you in a shower and I whispered at you? Like.
Yeah. Alright, so it's at this time that the giant BT finally arrives. You go outside and there's a large tar pool that's outside the facility shooting up these giant jets of tar, like geysers from Yellowstone. And a BT head pops out, and tar flesh seemingly melts off of its skull, and ghostly tendrils rip its face apart and begin sucking in tar and vehicles from around it, and lightning flashing from its jaw. Sam is sucked in, and it roars and intimidates him with its fierce mandibles. It climbs out and falls upon its spinal cord and starts throwing vehicles around, and it slaps its umbilical cord tendrils around. Its spinal cord also acts as a snake to chase you around in the tar. So that's some cosmic horror shit right there.
I freaking loved every moment of this. Like, just because at first, like you said, it's just this head, like this giant head just rises up out of the tar, and you're like, oh, damn, it's huge. And then it all melts away, and it's some weird, like, twisted skeletal horror with like a spinal snake and a giant weird face that opens up in like trifolds with weird tendrily teeth everywhere, and it's like so weird, so weird. I love it.
Mm-hmm. Do you guys remember the episode of SpongeBob where there's that super old shriveled lady in the wheelchair, and it's just like a head with like a spinal cord? This is exactly what it reminded me of. The chocolate episode. Okay, anybody?
Probably where Kojima got the idea.
SpongeBob? Yeah.
Just a second, I have to look into this.
Kojima, he watched that episode of SpongeBob and he was like, "How could I make this horrifying?" Yeah.
Oh wow, yeah. This is exactly what he was referencing. Chocolate episode SpongeBob.
I really hope so, because it would be fantastic. It would make me so happy. He's like, you know what? Remember that one episode of SpongeBob? I'm going to put that in this game.
They put that on a kid's show?
Man, the
Yeah, it
first
looks like
couple
a
seasons
worm,
of
kind of.
SpongeBob
That's
are
exactly
so
what
good.
it is. Yeah.
I want to hear that thing's voice. That looks horrifying. So, what I love about this monster from this game is that, like, when you do cosmic horror visually, like, the thing about Lovecraftian cosmic horror is that it works best in written form because it's supposed to be an something that you can only describe and can't visualize, and it's supposed to be ununderstandable. And there are things like Bird Box that try to approximate it without showing it, because by showing it, you're supposed to go mad, so they try not to show it, but then that just makes the audience angry. So when you do show it visually, such as in a game or movie, you just throw tentacles on it. And to be fair, that's just, it's a trope, it's what you do, and that's what Kojima does most of the time.
If it ain't broke,
then,
don't fix it. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
exactly.
It's a trope, but it's super effective and doesn't really get old.
It doesn't. I still love it.
At least not the way
Just
Kojima
make
does it.
Yeah.
But then he does shit like this. And I'm like, this is some of the most creative nonsense I've ever seen. This is brilliant. This and, like, the floating whale with, like, femur mandibles or whatever that shit I saw in the first game. I don't even remember how I described it or how I remember it. There was also, like, I don't know. I don't remember what I saw. It was ununderstandable. That's the thing.
It's just so detached from reality and what you're used to normally seeing that when you try to recall it, you're like, I don't remember. It was like a whale, and it was weird, like, but I don't remember.
It's like trying to
it was
describe
so
a
weird.
dream.
Yeah, it's like trying to describe a dream. Yeah.
So creative. Also, yeah. I don't know. We just need to move on from this. There is a fantastic way that this comes. That this has payoff in the game. Let's come back to this. All right. So after you return to sleep after this amazing battle, by the way, just one of my very favorites in both games. You return to sleep, and Deadman just kind of continues.
He just starts up again. He just waits for Sam to fall asleep, and then he's like, all right, second half of the monologue, here we go.
Right. So he wants to talk about Lou. He found the decommissioning records for BB-28. BB-28 was flagged for disposal and incinerated 4 years ago. So this is 11 months after you went off the grid. So this would be 3 years and 1 month before you found BB-28, who is not the BB-28 he is referring to. So this is long before Sam and Lou met. So this all did happen. So BB-28 is gone, and Lou was never official and was swapped into its place. This would advantage Sam, otherwise they'd want to study Lou because it shouldn't be able to survive out of the pod, as no BB has ever been able to do so up until now. Sam is free, so he says Sam is free to bring up Lou in peace, which is not what Fragile had suggested, and that this was something he was going to have to take up with the UCA.
Yeah, so in short, Sam is not a fugitive with the UCA on paper.
Because of Lou, yeah.
Because of Lou.
He still has a record for what he did, which he still gets expunged, but not for stealing, BB. All right, so after this, Deadman also offers a set of vaccines. Subtly, there are ways in which in this game Kojima just decides to inject, his principles on vaccines and violence and climate change. It's not, it's not ham-fisted in any way. It's just, hey, I believe in science. I think that's all he's saying here.
Well, it makes sense that Deadman, a man of science, would be like, here are some vaccines to give Lou as she grows up, because, I am a science man.
Yeah. That's all. Like, it has no other payoff in the game. It's just him saying, this is what I believe in, so I'm going to say it.
And I think it shows that, like, Deadman is still making efforts and thinking about Lou, because in the first game,
fair.
Deadman develops a pretty strong bond with Lou as well. And so I'm sure that, you know, he wants to help, and he, you know, kind of like a nice uncle or whatever to Lou. He's like, yeah, I want to help. I want her to be happy and healthy, and here's how I can contribute.
Yeah, this is a gift that a scientist could give a baby. That's fair.
Yeah.
And he also offers a what looks like a blue bee totem for Lou, because babies tend to be scared of the stings of needles. All right, so then Deadman begins talking about beaches and how he didn't think he had a car, and then it zooms them across the room, and now the scene is set in black and white, which is used to denote that we're talking about a different subject matter, death. So, Deadman went to that lab to finish research on beaches because he didn't have that much time left. He had tons of data for him. Beach formation, jumping via beaches to plate gates, all that stuff. This led to him to discover that he had a beach because he lived as a human. Apparently that's all you need.
Also, how happy were you guys for Deadman here? I know
I was so happy for Deadman.
Toro the entire
so
first game.
bored.
I was like, oh, this makes me so happy that this character...
Tucker was happy to see him go. Yeah.
Yeah, I was like, finally, this guy's dead. No, it made me so happy of just like, you know what? Like, he does get his afterlife. Like, he spent the entire game just
He
bummed
gets his
out.
happy ending.
Yeah.
Like, every character in the first game, to your point, has a tragic story, and like none of them get them resolved, and this is the first one of them that does. So they're all tragic characters, and he's the first one with a happy ending, and that's
well,
beautiful.
and it's not just a happy ending. It's a really nice, heartwarming moment, and it's a happy ending that Deadman thought was not available to him, and so it's not just him like he didn't even consider. It's not just him like. Finding happiness, this, that, or whatever. It was a happy ending that he desired, but thought was impossible, and then found out it was possible and was able to achieve it, which is really nice. Good for Deadman.
You could say Mama got a happy ending in that she went to go live with her baby, which was Malingen's baby, but it came at a great cost, and so. Like, nobody gets the perfect ending with no cost, and this is a beautiful ending for Deadman, I thought he delivered it very well. So
some of the best acting we've seen from him across these two games. I didn't really have a huge problem with him in the first game. I thought he was kind of weird, but I thought he a very well performed scene. Really nice, touching, good stuff. I liked it.
So apparently, all you need to have a ha to have a ka is just to have lived as a human, and that automatically materializes a beach for you.
I love Deadman here where he specifies like it doesn't matter where you came from, which I think is really like I don't know, on the nose, like just a comment on humanity in general. Like, it doesn't matter where we come from, it doesn't matter, what's happened in the past. Like, we are all human beings, and as such we all have, are all entitled to this potential of a afterlife, which I thought was just a really interesting, interesting commentary on humanity here that's just in a very passing moment, which is why I love this game so much.
Right. Yeah, he was definitely injecting a bit of Kojima philosophy on top of that, and it reminded me of Mewtwo's commentary in the Pokemon First movie, where he says, I see now that the circumstances of one's birth are irrelevant. It's what you do with the gift of life that determines who you are.
Yeah, that's Mewtwo said that in a Pokemon movie.
A Pokemon movie. Yeah. Yeah, who said it better?
Probably Mewtwo.
Mewtwo, obviously.
Yeah.
This is just Kojima ripping it off. He also then says that he discovered he does have dooms. He said he didn't in the first game, but he just didn't know it. So then it flashes to him on a screen, and he discovered it when he discovered he had a chiral reaction from being on the beach. And then he starts walking off into the seam of that beach and is essentially descending to his death. However, we know that when somebody is on the beach and is actually dead at that moment, they would appear in blue. So he's not dead. He has been apparated to a beach, and he's descending into a seam, but he's not dead at that moment.
I mean, this is also just a message that he's left Sam. So it might not be him actually descending into his beach. It might be symbolic of him like saying, I'm going to die. Here's a little video. Remember me, kind of a thing.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, it has to be that. I didn't know if he was somehow recording from a beach, and that would be impossible. I think he was symbolically recording himself walking into into water, I guess.
That's how I read that. That's what I thought about that. That's why it switched to that screen right before, because it was like, he's like, all right, I'm dying, here I go, kind of a thing. Which, if he was actually dying, is probably not how that would have literally played out.
It's a bit symbolic to stage that, just so that he needed the stagecraft to be able to be, a little more provocative.
He's a theatrical man, Deadman.
That's it. He's very theatrical. He needs to tell Sam a secret, pulls him into the shower, Yeah,
the research station had a plethora of interns that needed work to do, so he just says, hey, whip up this stage for me. So
they've got their video editing
Sam
budget.
this in a very theatrical way.
What is all this research for again? Don't worry about it. It's important. Yeah.
Don't worry about it, or it's not important.
Both. Yeah.
All right. The UCA data of Sam as a fugitive has been erased. It's time for him to return. On the way back, you discover you don't really know what they are, and Sam asks what was his deal. So that's fun.
Yeah, he's got like an Odradek for a face. Yeah, he's like a samurai with an Odradek for a face, and then comes and slices up a bunch of the other bad guys, and some of them are like two-legged dog machines. They bark like dogs. I remember just doing this and being like, what the hell is happening? What is happening right now? And it's also like, I was just trying to drive past them, because you start to get distress calls from from Sam's house, his little shelter. That's like, hey, intruders are coming. And so I was just like, I was on my little motorcycle, and I was just driving past as many of these guys as I could, because I was like, I have to get home, get out of my way. Like, I'm not dealing with you guys right now. So I didn't get a good look at any of them.
To father mode of just like, I gotta go save these people. And just did the same thing as Eric. I just drove and just ignored everything.
I don't have time for you. I have to get home.
I don't even think I did this fight. I saw it when I was rewatching the cutscene. I was like, I don't remember this. Did this happen?
I just skipped this. I just drove right past. Tried to give me a nice little cinematic moment, and I was like, bye. Yeah.
My kid's in danger. I don't got time for this. All right, so you come across Fragile passed out on the sand right outside your shelter, carvalium trailing down her eyes. She then talks about what happened. She's in the shelter taking care of Lou when alert level 5 goes off. By the way, is this the first time? I think it shows that Fragile is not wearing her jacket, and she doesn't have frail, aged body that she has in the first game.
She's been fixed. She's got nice young skin again. Yeah, 'cause she's in like a short sleeve or like a tank top or something. You can see all of her arms, and they're not all old and wrinkly.
But they didn't show that before this scene, right? I don't think so.
I think in the Cairo
you get like a message.
The same thing.
Well, you also get like little social media messages from her while you're gone, of her, like pictures of her with Lou.
Okay. Well, Sam's not very inquisitive. That is a character trait that he has carried through both games, and I wish he would ask a few more questions.
Like, what the hell happened? Where is Lou? What's going on? Like,
hey, where's your grandma body?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, nice skin.
Yeah.
Anyway, so there's an alert level 5. Fragile escapes out of a secret elevator with Lou, and then she gets shot and rolls off her unicycle.
I loved the camera work with this part because it's not a secret elevator. It's like when Sam, like when you go to a way station or whatever, and they send up like equipment for you, it comes up out of that little like shuttle elevator thingy, and that's what Fragile is on. She's on like an equipment lift that like takes it from one floor to the other. And so I like the camera work, how it kind of pulls in, and you see like her looking over her shoulder behind her holding Lou, and she goes up in this little like equipment elevator thing. And I was like, oh, that's a clever way to escape. Like, you're not leaving through the front door, you're leaving through this little extra exit. So I like that camera work a lot.
Yeah. All right, so she then explains that she tried to jump, but she couldn't jump with Lou because Lou's not equipment and couldn't imagine Lou that way. Tried to jump only Lou, but couldn't do it. Wait, no. Shoot. Then she tried to jump only Lou, and then at this moment, there's a gun that's being pulled on the two of them, and right before going to black, it's very quick. I didn't notice it the first time. Lou has chiralium tears as well. That
I did not notice
that Fragile has when Sam comes across her. So I thought that was interesting. But we don't know why. We'll come back to it. It's just very subtle on the shot. Okay, so suddenly Fragile is empty-handed in the next shot and in an inflamed area, coughing blood. She has the chiralium tears that we saw that when Sam found her. Lou is crying off in the distance. This is when men start to cry real tears. She starts crawling towards Lou. Then Lou goes quiet. Lou dies. Fragile passes out. All right. Is this a real area? Is this a symbolic area? I don't remember seeing a charred flame area when Sam came back. I don't know if it was real or symbolic, or a beach area or something like that.
Yeah, this all had me so
disoriented.
Kind of disoriented and in disbelief because it just kind of happened so quickly, and then Lou stopped crying, and I was like, maybe she passed out. Maybe they kidnapped. This is a weird, unfamiliar area. Maybe Fragile's having a nightmare while she's passed out unconscious, or so. Like, I'm just trying to find all of these different ways to rationalize. Like, Lou's probably fine. They just kidnapped her. You know, like, just everything in my brain that I can do, other options, anything besides like Lou is dead. You know, any scenario my brain can conjure up. It's just like I'm just running through them all in my brain, trying to figure out what's going on, and not even really occurring to me like that Lou's dead, because I'm like, they're not going to kill the baby. They're not, like, that's not going to be a thing that they do in the first act of the game.
Yeah, this hit super hard for me. Like, my daughter is about the same age as Lou in this moment, and it is who kills a baby and who shows a dead baby. I had to stop playing the game like at this point and like go to bed because I was just so shook and just in a terrible mood after that, and had to sit on it for a few days while Shan caught up to that point, because it was the worst. And then now with Eric,
yeah, it's
especially because all girl dads, this hits a little too close.
Yeah, we all have daughters. We're all girl dads. It's just like I just can't even begin to imagine. And it's just not something that I was even sort of expecting. It just completely caught me off guard. Was not ready for it at all, and I'm still mad at Fragile about it.
Yeah, I went into this game thinking, as soon as I saw Lou in your carrier at the beginning of the game, I was like, okay, so either they write Lou out at the beginning of the game by having someone watch her, or or that was about the only thing I could think of. Like,
I was thinking maybe she gets kidnapped as a MacGuffin to
or
motivate Sam
kidnapped.
throughout
That was
the game.
other thing.
Yeah.
It was those two options. Either the game is you finding Lou, or somebody watches Lou while you go and do something else. I was between those two options, and Lou being killed was not the third option.
Secret third option, they ice the baby. Like,
Yeah, I remember reading Kojima's book, The Creative Gene, and he described like all books are man digs hole or man gets himself out of a hole, something like that. And he's like, and he had read a book where he realized that there was a third option that he didn't realize until he read it, where man digs hole and then finds life in the hole. And, you son of a bitch, you found the third option. Good for you.
We're laughing now. It's to keep the tears at bay. Like, I just... what a horrible way to start a game. It made me be like, I don't know if I want to play the rest of it. Like, I didn't have to sit on it for a few days because I knew we were going to be talking about it. So I muscled through. But there was a real minute where I was like, maybe I don't want to play this game. This is a lot.
Yeah, real bold strategy there, Kojima.
See if it pays off for him.
So I don't know. Symbolic area or not, we know that Fragile tried to jump Lou. She couldn't jump the two of them. So this couldn't be an area they both jumped to. So you would have to lean towards symbolic area, right? Because the area wasn't engulfed in charred brush.
When Sam got there, yeah.
Something like that. I don't know for sure. Yeah. Okay. So Sam, he sees, when he's back in his place, he sees Chiralium baby handprints crawl around the room. This is after Fragile's done talking to him, and the BB enters the pod where ghostly chronobiotes are floating around, and then we, it's subtle. You could see that the BBT, as we called them in the first game, BBBT, so I call them BBTs. This BBT had the angel wings from the shirt that Lou was wearing.
Outfit.
So that's why that Lou was wearing that outfit at the beginning of the game. It was foreshadowing, and also for this one moment.
Yeah, this was the moment where I started to realize and accept what had actually happened. I was still like, okay, well, where's Lou? The weird people in red took her. Something else happened, still trying to rationalize. And then at this point, when you see the little BBT hands and they crawl into the pod, and then Sam runs over and picks up the pod, he seals it, picks up the pod, and looks at it and goes, Lou, can you hear me? And he goes, no, of course you can't. You're dead. And just hearing Sam say that, just no, of course you can't hear me because you're dead, was when it clicked in my brain. It's like, oh my gosh, Lou is dead. The daughter that Lou traveled across America with in the first game and built up this bond with, and decided to raise outside of its BB pod, and basically the motivating force for the entire first game, what made it all worth it, just died. And Sam just spoke those words out loud. It was so far in the game the heaviest I've felt. It was a hard truth to swallow, even in a piece of fiction like this. It was a bad moment for me. It was not good.
Yeah, you didn't get enough moments at the beginning of the game with them together, for the first game to have fully paid off. You just get Lou comes back to life, and then walks out into the timefall that seems to have stopped being timefall, and then you get them playing at the beginning of this, and that's it. And I'm already dead inside.
Yeah.
But yeah, so this shot of this BB entering the pod, it's glowing in red, and there's this eerie music of this chorus music, and it just, so even though it kind of feels like it's supposed to be, well, it's tragedy, but it's beautiful, but it's also creepy at the same time. Like it evokes so many emotions simultaneously that feel very conflictive. It's very well executed.
Yeah.
But also, I love how consistent Sam is as a character and how well he's acted, because, you know, it feels like Norman Reedus shouldn't be a great actor, and I still sometimes don't even know if he is. It feels like he's what's his face from The Matrix?
Keanu Reeves.
Yeah, he kind of feels like a Keanu Reeves type, where it's like, is he a good actor? But he's consistent, and it pays off, right? And
it works. He might not be objectively an amazing actor, but it's like whatever he's doing, it's working for me, and I'm not exactly sure why. Yeah.
Right, and Kojima writes him perfectly. Yeah. And so it's like, he's not an inquisitive person when I feel like 99% of people would be inquisitive about the most basic things. And then it's moments like this where it's like,
oh yeah, didn't notice.
Yeah. And then it's like, your child just died and you didn't emote, and like it's like in New Girl when it's like, well, to be fair, it's like when her face shows up, she's like, well, to be fair, nobody here emotes in a normal way. Reagan.
Yes. Yeah.
And it's like, you know what, him just like, he just sees that, he just hears the story, he picks up the pod, and he's like, no, you're dead. And I'm like, that's not a normal way to react, but you know what, it works with everything else you've done so far.
Yeah, well, and there's this like subtle level of pain that he just kind of like, Sam doesn't really outwardly emote. He's just kind of, but you can sense that he's internalizing it and keeping it inside of him, but that the pain is still there. It's just not showing up in a way that it would with most people.
Well, and the way he follows up with
bottle up. Oh god, I would say like acting, bottling up emotions. I don't know how you do that so well, but he just nails it in this part. Like, you can tell it's, I'm not going to deal with this. I've already dealt with it once with my own child. Let's just stuff those feelings deep down inside and not have to deal with this.
And that's another thing. He lost a child to stillbirth, like before the first game even starts. So it's like, this guy can't catch a break. It's just trauma after trauma.
Right. And that's what I feel like is so beautiful about the subtext of his delivery. It's so short, and Kojima just trusts him to layer it with the psychology of the pain of his past, such that when he says, no, you're dead, I felt his pain of his cynicism, that of course you're dead because everything bad happens to me and this was predictable. Of course you were going to die because I can't have something nice.
Yeah, even just the word death versus like passed on or whatever other, synonym you want to do for it, just dead is hit so hard with the cynicism of it. Just like, I can't say it better than you did, Shan.
Right. It's like April Ludgate when she's criticizing Andy, and she's like, well, maybe don't use the word dead or you're dying or death. Let's bury that emotion for a while, and let's move on to episode 2. Well, I guess it's gonna get worse, I guess, for another minute. Just for the rest of this episode. I guess episode 2 is
gonna be a bad time. Yeah.
I forgot. We're gonna ruminate for another 20-30 minutes. All right. So we wake up like at the beginning of the game at the top of the mountain, and we see but we don't have Lou. It's desaturated sky. There's timefall. We see the jellyfish in the distance, like War of the World style jellyfish. Like in the first game, we had these creatures. These are BT monsters. As you're going down, you can also have BT encounters, but the they are we have Chiralium Hunter BTs that pop out of the ground that are golden. When you get to your shelter, you see Lou. That's similar to the encounter that Fragile just explained to you. So face away from the camera. You go to reach out and you apparently get shot, and the camera turns to Lou. Lou's dead, and it has a voiceover of Fragile. No way for us to escape together is what she says. It turns back to Sam. Sam is nude, so this is a symbolic dream again. And then he lifts up a gun on himself, and she voices over, best I could hope for was to jump Lou out. Jump Lou out, just Lou. And then he pulls the trigger on himself, and he falls into the seam. His hair is white now, and he repatriates with and inside of his throat he has the BB with closed chiralium eyes, the tears like we saw on Fragile and on the side of Lou's face. So anyway, so anything to make of this so far?
I think it's just a dream sequence of Sam dealing with his grief, basically.
Okay.
That's kind of what I got out of it. I didn't notice anything that made me think it was deeper than that.
I think the minute he goes into the seam, he has actually committed suicide, because he's apparently done that so many times in this 1 month span. Because the minute he's committed suicide, his hair turns white, and his hair is actually white after this. So it is the synchronization of symbolic moment to real moment.
Well, and I have a question about that, because that was pretty heavily implied that Sam has been, committing suicide. Yeah. But as a repatriate, wouldn't that cause a void out every time he dies?
No, that's only when he touches a BT.
Oh, that's right. It's when a BT causes a death,
because he doesn't necrotize if he.
No, I remember now. That's right. Okay.
So it's actually kind of implied that this symbolic scene that just played out was probably playing out in his mind as he was thinking about the tragedy, and this is the thought he had right before he pulled the trigger.
Yes, that makes sense.
All right. And then he looks down at the pod, and the pod is filled with tentacles, cosmic horror style. Sam sits up. He's shirtless. The tentacles pull away. There's a blue BBT inside. We know that people are blue when they're on the beach, because the seam has taken away their color and they're dead. So it's no longer a chiralium dotty, floaty BB anymore. It's just showing like an opaque blue BB, as if it's Lou. And then it does an insert of Sam's eye, an extreme close-up, and his eye is glistening. And we see in like episode 3, so I won't really talk about this. Maybe it's episode 3. It references this phenomenon again, or at least this look. But so I won't talk about that now. But it kind of looks like his eye is showing different colors of aurora borealis reflecting in his eye. And then so after this, the room is flush and red. We know that this is a symbolic way to denote that there's no ka or no soul that's there, because when the seam is at its most open in the real world, all of the light spectrum except the lowest color of red is left in the world. So we saw this at the end of Death Stranding 1 when you encounter the whale. All the color leaves and you only get like red and orange. And so when he flushes this scene in red, it's to denote that it's like Sam's seam has ripped open and his soul has left his body. And so it just, you feel just devoid of any life right now.
Yeah, I was wondering why the significance of the black and white. So that makes sense to me, because I thought that it had something to do with life and death and the relationship of that. But yeah, that makes sense.
After this, Fragile appears. She says she can't make it right. Sam is all disheveled. He doesn't talk to her. He's out of beer. He goes to a completely empty fridge, and then he goes over to a drawer and he pulls out a gun to appear to kill himself right in front of her. Or maybe he's just demonstrating that he's done it too many times to count, because he's out of bullets, and so he empties the shells in front of her. And then she says, "It's time for you to start a new life," walks him out the front door, and pulls out what we find out to be the DHV Magellan from a tar pit right out of his door, and offers him a new journey.
Yeah, also, the ball's on Fragile to be like, hey, quit moping when this is all kind of her fault.
Thanks, lady. You just let my child die.
And then she's like, get over it. Yeah.
No, I actually thought that it was well scripted and delivered, such that it didn't feel like get over it. It felt like it is time to do something that will change you, or will
I understand.
Distract you. I know.
Yeah, and I think it was like Fragile actually trying to be a good friend. Oh my goodness, so many things just fell over in Shan's background.
Oops.
Oh no. Whoops. But I do think it was like Fragile trying to be a good friend, but I personally am still kind of salty at her. So when she was coming in, it's like, Sam, you got to do something with your life. It's like, excuse me? This is like, I'm still mad at her. It's going to take me a minute to calm down and not be mad at Fragile, because I'm still kind of mad at her.
Yeah. Okay, so lore or mechanic or story-wise, Sam has white/blondish, platinum blonde hair. Did y'all have thoughts on it? What do you make of it?
I thought that it was like a visual representation of maybe how many times he's repatriated, like that might have something to do with it, that he's killed himself so many times that it's literally draining the life and color out of him. Or maybe it's aging him when he does that. I didn't see any other signs of significant aging besides his facial hair and the hair on his head being more gray.
Yeah,
but that's kind of what I thought about that.
There's no other aging, and it's only been 1 month.
Yeah. But his hair is longer too, because in a minute he cuts his hair.
Yeah.
But
Tucker, did you have any thoughts?
I mean, I think it's the same underlying feelings of it. It's just, I think it's him literally, just dying, but in not I guess his soul dying, not so much his body dying over and over. I think it's just representing, hey, with Lou gone, he's got nothing to live for, and so his soul is dying, which would be the driving factor around, suicide so many different times.
Mm-hmm. So it turns out there was a scrapped mechanic that Kojima had where he was going to allow the players to continuously cut and clean up Sam's hair and then dye it different colors, and it would just continuously grow throughout the game. And he scrapped it somewhere halfway through or near the end, and it turns out he just wanted to throw it in at the last minute, some artifact of that mechanic, but he clearly threw it in as a literary device of some sort. And so the question was this lore related or was it story related? Because you could theoretically say that he was blonde since the first game, and this has to do with repatriation his whole life, and he's been dying it forever. It could be that it literally happened in a month. Like, there are so many things that we just don't know because he doesn't say.
But I like the idea of it just being a leftover game mechanic that Kojima was just like, I like it, keep it in. Like,
and we're just reading way too much into it.
Yeah, and we're like trying to find significance and meaning, and he's just like, I thought it would be fun, I left it in.
I think it could be like an artifact, and he's like, well, where can I use it? And so he threw it in here because because so there's like Marie Antoinette syndrome. That's not like really a real thing, but the story went that Marie Antoinette, upon finding out that she was going to get guillotined, that her hair turned white overnight. And I don't think it's referencing that, but it's one of the only like cases of historically, anecdotally, that somebody's hair turns white overnight. There was also in Alexandre Dumas' book, The Count of Monte Cristo, somebody it's like Villefort, I think is his name, finds out near the end of the book that his wife poisoned his child and his hair turns white overnight. And I don't think it's really referencing that either, although it's somewhat close. I think personally this came to me right before, like 10 minutes before recording. I think this is it, right? I think it's the Lord of the Rings.
Everything's the Lord of the Rings with Shan.
Everything's the Lord of the Rings.
It's always the Lord of the Rings.
So, and I actually have...
Are you going to go with that Lou gave... You're going to go with Lou gave him a natural long life? Is that where we're going with this?
I have... If it was just his hair turning white and him becoming Gandalf the White, I would not say that this is Lord of the Rings. But there are two reasons I think it's Lord of the Rings. So, remember in the movie, Gandalf starts explaining why how he became Gandalf the White. He was Gandalf the Grey, and then he fell off the cliff in the Mines of Moria, and he gets into a prolonged battle with the Balrog. And then after that prolonged battle, he goes into this sort of slumber where, and he describes, and I'm paraphrasing here, like, through fire and water, darkness overtook me, and I strayed out of thought and time. And then in the movie, his eye becomes a realm of stars ending in white light, and then he says, stars wheeled overhead, and every day was as long as the life age of Earth, but it was not the end. I felt light in me again. I've been sent back until my task is done. So, it was not only just the fact that his hair became white, but it was also because of that extreme close-up of his eye, where it showed those aurora borealis in multiple colors, that it also was evocative of that insert in The Lord of the Rings, where Gandalf zooms in on his eye and it shows like galaxies, as he is aging in moments, as if lifespans are happening in a moment. And it happens when Sam is staring at the BB pod. It's as if when he's staring at the BB pod, he's losing himself lifespans in a moment because he can't get past this moment.
You heard it here. Sam is now Sam the White.
Yeah.
Sam Porter Bridges the White. Yeah. Yeah.
Gandalf the Bridges.
Gandalf the Bridges. There it is. Yeah. I mean, I like that thought. I like the thought of it just being a holdover from Kojima even better because that's funnier. But
I mean, it's both. It's still just like an
stuff could be two
It can be
things.
true.
Yeah.
But he's like, because you know that everything he does is just like, let me take 1,000 different stories and movies that I love and smash them together. And he's like, I have hair color, and so what can I do with it? And what's my favorite thing that changes hair color? Lord of
Obviously
the Rings.
Gandalf, yeah.
Gandalf.
Yeah.
I think it's as simple as that.
I love the theory of Kojima associating hair color change with Lord of the Rings Gandalf becoming Gandalf the White. Like, that's his first thing his mind goes to.
He's like, I'm going to dye my hair. Oh, just like Gandalf that one time.
Yeah.
It could be as simple as that. And the eye thing, the thing with the eye, I think, is the full giveaway.
I mean, we do see more of that, though, that isn't specifically related to this instance. So,
What?
more of the close-ups of his eye in later chapters. We'll talk about that next time. But
it does the eye thing again?
yeah, like a lot.
Yeah. Like
It does it when he's going through the thing, right?
I'm just going to say it because I don't know how to dance around it. But when you connect to the BB pod, it does the same, like zoom in on the
That's
eye.
a completely different effect.
I'm going to watch them both and I'll see. But I don't know enough to argue it with you. So
Oh my gosh. Well,
I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm just saying it does do the eye thing a lot. So, yeah.
Yeah. All right. Well, I'm right, and I have played the game, so...
Yeah, Eric, I learned in the Last of Us episodes, don't challenge Shan or else he just belittles you.
Well, Shan does have more. He's
pre-submitting.
played the whole game. So, yeah.
Yeah. Your eye changes into a completely different color with a completely different effect. This is multicolored Aurora Borealis, and that is like a completely different thing. But
All right.
it's okay.
all right.
I'll make you look like a dumbass later.
Well, listen. I'm just trying to play devil's advocate.
You can go to hell then.
Wow. It's really
Well,
aggressive.
if you're the devil's advocate.
It's a pretty common phrase. You should log it away for later use.
All right. Any other things you want to add here? Should we just leave it off?
No, I mean, I'm really liking this game so far. Excited to talk more about it.
What was it that you liked?
episode
Be
2
specific.
can go
Was
to
it the
hell.
baby death?
It was not that part. I mostly I didn't enjoy these first few chapters. I almost stopped playing, but I knew I had to keep going. But I've started enjoying it more once you kind of get into the meat and potatoes of the gameplay, because I feel like it's taken a lot of what I liked about the first Death Stranding game and expanded on it gameplay wise and added some more fun wrinkles and elements that we'll kind of get into next time. But yeah,
I
liking it so far.
am enjoying the pacing of this game, especially the beginning here.
Chapter 3 isn't like 8
1.
hours long. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. But no, just like the first game felt just very like, I mean, it's just fetch missions. And then this one, you kind of start out with a fetch mission, but then it gets into lore and combat a lot faster. And just kind of gets that hook in a little bit earlier on, where I think the first game really struggled.
Yeah, a little more variety and pacing and yeah.
Yeah. As you can guess, I give this a perfect 11 out of 10. And the thing I would easily knock is the exposition character, and the mechanics are pretty much perfected. And I will say it feels like they took the criticism of pacing in the first one, which I feel like, okay, if you're going to pace in a wonky way in the first one, then get it going quickly at first and then get the worst of it done at the beginning and then start having fun with it. Like, I felt like if you're going to do it exactly the way he did. That was great. However, it feels like as an overcorrection from that criticism, it's so aggressively even paced in this game, such that it feels like in this game sometimes they avoid doing things in favor of evenly pacing it, and I'm like, just give me more story. I just want the story right now. It feels like they
Give me it.
It's like, just give me the next cutscene, and instead it's like, no, we're gonna throw in a cutscene right here, and Sam's just not a very inquisitive person.
It's a returning pattern for Sam. He's not asking a lot of questions.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Anyway, so, well, that's going to do it for us today. Please like, comment, subscribe. You can find us wherever you find podcasts. Please watch our Eric's Indie Corners on Thursdays. Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Bye.
Outro. Bleepy doof, bleepity, bloopity blow.